For those of you that have been watching me for a while, you'll have seen episode 36, 39 and 42, the mini-series on RM843, the bus that was stuck in a field for many, many years, and Lord Barrington and I attempted to rescue it and drive it out of that field. Now, it was a monstrous effort to get this done, but it was also one of the most popular YouTube things that I've ever posted. So as you can imagine, a lot of you have been in touch asking what's happened to the bus in the field. Some of you have even driven past there and told me it's still there, what's going on? So I have an update for you guys on RM843. But because it's been such a while, we're actually going to skip back to the beginning and show you a quick recap of all the work we did to find out what has happened very recently. And sadly, it is not all good news. About 10 years ago, I tried to buy a bus that was stuck in a field, but I failed. And throughout the period of time after that, it has always bugged me that that thing is still sitting there rotting away. So I recently got hold of the owners and I asked them if they would mind if my mechanic, Lord Barrington, and myself would come down to see if we can get it running and driving.
Hey, there she is!
They agreed, but little did we know what we were in for. Our first port of call was to figure out and see if this engine would even turn over by hand, and trust me, that did not start very well. With it struggling to move, we threw a load of oil down the bores in the hope to free it up. Ultimately, we had to get access to the flywheel from inside the bus to get it to turn in the correct way. This was a challenge that seemed a lot easier than it was. Oh, nice access.
Excellent.
However hard we tried, this thing was stuck properly, so we decided to focus on other stuff first. We cleared out the cab to get to the controls, and we spent significant time just freeing up the throttle. We checked the engine to see how much oil was in there, and to our horror, there was absolutely none. We filled it back up, changed the filter, and actually had a go at starting her up.
Say, let's have a go. That be nothing.
The next time we visited, we were so fed up with working in this smelly, dark, dingy clown sex den that we decided to have a clear out and at the same time give us better access to that almighty flywheel. And after what seemed like 1,000 different tools and 1,000 different tries...
Oh yeah, it moved. That is the first time it's moved that direction. Oh yeah. Oh! Bravo!
As in television station? Or?
Oh yeah, Bravo TV!
We finally had an engine that was free and turning. We then cleaned the fuel filter,
Oh, there's fuel in there.
bypassed the tank and pipes, and gave the engine some fresh diesel.
There we go.
But our biggest challenge was yet to come. The last time we pulled the starter lever, nothing happened. So to eliminate any problems with the wires, we took apart every connection between the battery and the starter motor, cleaned it up, and put it back together again.
Okay, so here we go. Oh, nothing.
Nothing at all.
So weird.
But it wasn't until rummaging around under that old bus for several hours that Lord Barrington himself realized that about 7 years ago, when the starter motor was replaced, it was wired back in there the wrong way round.
Plenty, yeah. So the engine is definitely losing oil because we're now here and we were here. And those top two marks, that's a gallon. Down she goes.
In preparation for today, Lord Barrington actually made up a starter motor cable out of a few pieces he had lying around, and that is what he's connecting now to the bus and the starter motor itself to help it work properly. Our first few attempts were hampered by a poor battery connection, but this setup soon sorted that out.
And after what felt like a day that never seemed to end, and 14 separate attempts, we did finally get her running. It was a wonderful moment, and believe it or not, most of the internet has now actually seen it.
She sounds beautiful! Wow! I'm so happy!
But even though we got her running, the bus wasn't without its faults. We had brake oil coming out of one side.
Whoops!
And a broken reducer valve meant we couldn't select any gears.
Oh, there it is.
All of this meant that RM843 had to stay in this wretched field once again.
So this is the reason why she won't move. It is called the reducer valve.
This valve regulates the pressure between the compressor and the gearbox, and without it we can't select gears. Lord Barrington wasted no time in installing it, but some of the old bits have to be used in combination with the new one to make it work. Our next job is to replace that brake hose so that we don't have brake oil flying all over the place when the bus is running. And whilst that's going on, I spent the entire day replacing all the glass that was smashed out the last time the bus was vandalized. I also decided to reveal the windows downstairs that have been hiding behind these horrible panels for the last 30 years. And luckily for us, they're all intact, and believe it or not, the bus is actually starting to look like a bus again. So after all that effort, it was finally time to see if she would move under her own power.
Here we go!
Well, that started a lot easier than the last time.
But then it had no brakes and no...
Brake lights off. Flags up. Oh, and the red one's off too.
Yes!
So we have a running and driving bus. But now what? The issue I'm going to discuss now actually is the whole reason why this bus ended up in this field in the first place. And that is this. The owners work with classic vehicles and they have loads of indoor storage space, but none of the doors are high enough to fit a bus. It's so annoying, and that's why the bus ended up in the field, because they simply had nowhere else to park it. Now, Lord Barrington and I tried to persuade them to park it on their driveway rather than in the field for security reasons and to stop potential vandalism occurring again. But the trees and bushes had overgrown so thick and low on the driveway, we just couldn't get it in there. Now, I did offer to go there and trim those trees back, but I got answers like, yeah, we'll sort it, okay, we'll do that. And then, of course, time started going by, and the bus was still in that field, albeit in a different spot. Then there was a personal circumstance change in my own barn, which meant that there was space to actually house it. So I got hold of the owners and I said, how about RM843 comes and lives at mine? But sadly, I was too late.
For some reason, we live in a world where there are people stupid enough to get a kick out of destroying other people's stuff. Now, the individuals responsible for this were nearly caught on the night of the incident. But it's probably a good thing they weren't, because I don't think any of them would have survived it. The only positive that's come out of this, however, is the fact that we've put an emergency plan together to get this bus out of this field.
So I am back on site with the Heathfield Routemaster. I was really worried about the damage that had been done, but luckily they only smashed about 4 or 5 panes of glass. Of course, it's still horrible, but they're just plain bits of glass, not the complicated one with the winders in them. So it's not going to be the end of the world to repair it all. And also the owners have been really good and they've covered everything up. They have been here to sort things out. So we've lost that one, that one, that one, and they did smash that bottom one here. So, but it's actually very clean and tidy in here. They've done a lot of work. The original floors come up beautifully. So yeah, not as bad as I thought.
Now I know what you're thinking. A recovery truck to recover a running and driving vehicle? Sadly, the bus is not quite safe enough to drive on the public roads yet, and we didn't want to take the risk of it breaking down. But my very good friend Will and his mate Rob have taken time out of their own schedule to help us move this bus into a safe location.
Man, the power. So I'm in a bit of a silly situation because first of all, it's great that the bus is now at the barn, but that doesn't mean it's inside the barn. And to get it inside the barn, of course, I would want to preferably start it and drive it in. But as you know by now, because it's got no oil in the engine, I can't start it. I also don't want to leave it outside because we've had some bad weather and now all the glass is missing. It's really going to do damage. So I'm going to have to tow it into the barn with a quad bike and a truck. Not sketchy at all. Not at all.
Yeah, so go and take it off. That always helps. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So just steer it towards the wall. Right. Oh, yeah. Okay, then when you're ready, hit the handbrake now. Okay.
Right, we're going to swap to the truck because the quad bike is somewhat running out of oomph.
Without the engine running, the bus has no brakes. And as you can tell from this angle, there is a huge drop down into the barn as you enter it. And this is the reason why this whole maneuver is so sketchy, because you could have a bus rolling in there out of control and then crashing into either the back of the barn or whatever is in its path. So the key here is to get the bus right to the edge and then slowly back it in on the handbrake.
Yeah. Try it. Handbrake's off. Brake's off. Yeah, we're in that. You ready?
No children, people, animals, buses or bus workers were injured in the process of moving this bus, which is a small miracle because it was pretty sketchy. Anyways, as you can see behind me, she is now inside, safe and dry, and whilst we plan all the work that's going to happen to her, at least no little shits are going to vandalize her and make her worse than she already is. There we go! Dry and indoors at long last. And most importantly, she is safe. Really glad the way the day went. I know it's really annoying that she was vandalized again, and it's just all extra work, but I actually kind of feel that had to happen for us all to sort of jump into action and make it happen. So it's done now, we're just gonna move forward from here on out. The fact that she's in my barn obviously means that any progress on her will be filmed and you'll all get to see it. And speaking of which, I'm also planning to do a little live session on YouTube with RM843. So if any of you have got any questions or want to see particular things, make sure you join us and you'll be able to check all that out. A big thank you to Matt, who helped me push the bus into the barn. A massive thank you to Will and Rob, who turned up with their amazing truck and towed the bus, and of course the owners of RM843 for being so helpful, and of course you guys for watching. You make it all possible, so I really thank you all for your support, and hopefully I'll see you all next time on Pete and his bus.